When you move out of College Station, what's one thing you'll miss the most? Yeah, sorry, I missed a lot of good questions. That sucks. I probably answered like 10 questions. That blows. That happened because of the server I'm using. I don't usually stream from my desktop through the server, but I started doing it with my sleep stream 2 days ago in case I wanted to switch to a different stream if I wanted to go downstairs or something, because otherwise I couldn't do that. But I'm gonna have to stop because I've been having problems with the server I use, which is the Synapse SuperStream system. It's good most of the time, but it has problems. When you get your sleep schedule figured out, we should go to the barbecue place. I'm down, Toshi. When you move out of College Station, what's one thing you'll miss the most? I'll miss having a house. Did I answer? I might have answered that one when it was still streaming. I don't know, but I'll miss having a place to just like a large place to live. This is a really nice place. Re-ask your questions. You need an extra mod. Pretty organized. Thanks, Ali. See, I said I'm just gonna say what I said the first time to all these questions. I don't think we need an extra. I don't really know the situation, but I'm not sure if we need an extra one. But I did it. I wrote your name down, and I appreciate the offer. And if we do need an extra one, then I will put you up for consideration. Text mix. What's the answer to my question before it's off? What was your question, Danny? What exactly is going to happen on New Year's? Jeez, I can't believe how many questions I missed. Okay, on New Year's, I'm gonna have, I'm gonna invite. It's gonna be an open invitation. All the people from the stream who want to come out to College Station, I'm just gonna have them come out here, and they can stay here. If there's enough beds, they can stay in all the beds, and as long as Davy's okay with someone using her room, and she's not gonna be here. Never mind, that's not even applicable. And it's anyone can come. That's the whole thing. It's just people. I want to have people come out here. What are things you'll miss about Ethan once you part with him, Jan? I like being able to go downstairs and just be able to like have a good laugh. Most of the time if I go in there, then at least something funny happens, and so it's just nice for me. Most of the time things aren't funny, but it's just to have someone who reliably you can find something funny. It's good. But I also said that that's not the case when he's playing League of Legends. In that case, nothing's funny, and it's a very unpleasant experience to go in there. Let's see, you're gonna miss Shelby the most. I saw you got a package full of antibiotics, low alcohol. You mentioned about an STD. Would you elaborate on that? Yeah, I'm really bummed that the stream cut out because I gave such a good answer to all these the first time, and now it just feels so weird. But basically, I said I lost my virginity at age 21, but since then have gotten chlamydia 3 times, which is really an impressive number. And so the antibiotics are just for that, which it's actually an STI, so it's not an STD, but that's what it's for. Would you elaborate on that? What sports do you play? What do you like to watch? I play soccer and like rollerblading, if you consider that sport, and skiing. And I like to watch the latter two. I like to watch roller skating and skiing. I like those a lot. Do you plan on coming to Washington, Seattle on your Oregon trip? I don't plan on doing that, but there's not like a reason not to, so we'll see. Do you sing too? I don't. Hoping I can come. Danny Cho asked about a concert. Took me forever to find this again. Which positions did you play in LOL? I don't play LOL. Ethan plays LOL. A few days ago, you went to school at midnight to play piano, but don't play it after you read notes in the paper. Actually, what happened was I went there, and I was eating an apple, and I was just gonna wait to finish the apple because I didn't. It said no food in the room in the first place, and then obviously I don't want to like have apple on my hands and make the keys gross. So I was just gonna finish eating the apple, but then as I was walking around, it was very faint, so I understand why you guys didn't hear it. But it came on the intercom and said the building's closed. So if you could see as I was leaving, like the lights were turned off and stuff. That's why I left. Any other I knew that I was gonna close at midnight, but I just was the rules for it opening seemed pretty relaxed because sometimes I would go like 15 minutes before it opened and there were already people in there and the doors were open, so I wasn't sure if it would be the same way when it closed, so I was just going there taking the chance that maybe I would be able to play it even after everyone left, but that did not seem to be the case because they seem to be pretty strict about getting people out. Any other platforms you can follow me on? You can follow me on, I have like 100 YouTube channels. My main one is just Michael Gary. You can follow me on there. I have a music channel called Mike's Hard. And then I have Instagram. So if you want to follow me on any of those, feel free. What's one habit you think would best help people take care of their mental health? So for that one I said people should stop doing things that they don't like to do all the time. Would you consider challenging each of your followers to pledge to do a random act of kindness? Jeez, did I miss that? I must have missed like almost every question in here. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. It sounds like a cool idea. I don't know how I would go about that. Asking how was your experience losing your virginity? It was good. It was okay. I don't really remember it that well. Would you make for positive chat content in the whole community, holding each other responsible to do good things? I missed the night you were there. Sorry to hear about your STI. A doctor could give you a little culture, and the best antibiotic. Taking antibiotics you don't need is extremely reckless for future infections. Okay. Well, I can't super feasibly go to a doctor this year because there's a lot of rules about not filming in doctor's offices and stuff. So I would only go to like a doctor or a hospital if I really, really needed it. So this was just like a workaround that sort of worked. That made me not have chlamydia immediately, which was good. When will you guys move out of this house? We'll probably move out on either the 1st or a couple days after the 1st of January. It depends on if it gets rented right away or not. If you can play one song on the piano, what do you play? One song. It would definitely be something by Jan Tiersen. And depending on if I get better at the song called Rue des Cascades, then it'd probably be that because I really like that one. But the one that I know the best, I mean, there's a couple that I would probably switch between, but La Valse des Monstres. I don't speak French, so I don't know at all about how to pronounce these things, but I think that's what it's called. Would be something by him. What's one habit you'd like to forgo? One good habit you'd like to pick up? One thing I'd like to forego. Oh, I'd like to like spend less time like watching YouTube videos probably, or just like being on my phone, or just carrying a phone in the first place. But it's a little bit impractical for me to do that this year because I sort of have to have a phone on me in case something happens with the stream. Then people tell me, and I have to be able to check it myself and stuff. So basically, to have a phone on me less would be a habit that I would like to have. Well, I would like to forego having a phone on me all the time as a bad habit, and the good habit I would like to pick up having my phone on me less. If affordable, do you prefer living alone? What are reasons you like to share? If you do so, would you feel lonely sometimes? I don't think that at this point in my life I would want at all to live with a random roommate or like a roommate that I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to live in the same room as someone. But I think I would like to live alone, but like in an area that's close to my friends. If you do, you feel lonely sometimes. I don't know. I like being alone. What's the oldest pic on your phone? I tend to clear out my photos. That's weird. I don't know if this is right. No, this can't be right. Let me check this. The oldest picture is this panorama. No, I guess it is. Yeah, it's this panorama of Ethan where he looks like a monster. There's a highlight on my channel of this, but I don't know. I clear things out pretty every couple of months, so that's why I don't have any really old stuff. You have no idea what people talking on live chat that night when you went to school. You should check it out. It's hilarious. When I went to school. I don't know what you're talking about. What are a few things that would be deal breakers for you in relationships? Pretty much almost anything. Qualities, characters, ethics. Yeah, like a few things. I mean, like just almost everything is a deal breaker. What's on your mind right now? Anything you can share? The only thing on my mind is the questions that I'm reading. What are you and Ethan planning for Thanksgiving? We're gonna cook a chicken. Most valuable gift you've given and received. Most valuable gift I've given. Well, technically, I gave Ethan a laptop, and then I gave him a really expensive camera. So those are very valuable. And the most valuable gift I've received a sum of money from my grandparents. That was like, in terms of value, but I don't know. I mean, like, maybe if we were talking about value in different terms, my grandparents also got me this the digital piano that I have over there, and that's something that I've had for a long time. It's very valuable. Like, I use a lot. Just watched Mike's Hard. You're a pretty good rapper. Thank you, Adrian. What is the craziest thing you and your mates have done after drinking for ages? That's a really good question. I feel like my craziest drinking stories were all from like early high school or like later. Yeah, like I think like all early high school. Are you learning Libestrium? Yeah, Elise actually sent me that. She said, "What's like?" She's like, "You taking recommendations or something?" And I said, "And if they're really good," and she asked me what era of music I wanted a recommendation from, like assuming that I was gonna give her something like that, like this 90s or I don't know. But then I said 1800s, and then she sent me that song. I was just checking it out. It wouldn't be something I learn soon because I'm gonna prioritize the Patreon songs, but probably something for the back burner for like a couple months after the project or something. It was a good song. I like it. Compare and contrast Ethan and Harley. Exact same, no differences. One pet peeve you find from other people. Like a pet peeve I have with other people. I really don't like meaningless conversation. I don't like people just like saying things to say things, or just like filling the time by saying things, or saying things that are like super half-baked ideas. That's something that annoys me about Ethan. If he like tells me something that's super half-baked and then 10 seconds later he switches it, it's like, just think it through before you tell me like what. I don't know, stupid gripe, but I don't like that in general. I don't like listening to people like it's like wasteful in my ears. Like you shouldn't waste someone's ears. You know what I mean? Like if you have someone's attention, you should just make sure that you're respecting it and using it in a valuable way. I remember that panorama, best panorama ever. I'm back. I had to call it download. Boo happy. Why don't you download Google Photos? It has unlimited storage and it's private. Can you do that with an iPhone? Google Photos is awesome. What's the last text you sent that is okay to share with us? Of course. Let's see. Text I sent. I sent one to. I don't want to say their name. Just in case, because they're a little bit cautious about this type of stuff. But someone said they got a new MacBook, and they were saying that they might need help figuring it out. And then I said, yeah, just let me know if you need whatever you need help with. And they said, I'll text you before I throw it at the wall. And then I said, it would probably survive. MacBooks are durable. You want some sweet potato casserole to go with your Thanksgiving chicken? Yes. Toshi, you want to have a Thanksgiving dinner with us? Characteristics of your ideal GF. 6'8", black eyes, long ears. Are you excited to get on the road and stretch your legs after the stream? Well, I'll probably be stretching my legs less because I'll be in a smaller space. But I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, I'm looking forward to the whole process from now until infinity, or like at least for the next couple months. But I'm especially looking forward to I'm looking most forward to the time when I don't have things figured out for what I'm going to do next. So I'm really want to be able to just like sort of be alive without having anything to do for a little bit. I think that would be nice. And then kind of like create a roadmap for what the next thing that I want to do is, and start working on things. What are you going to do if the streaming thing doesn't work out? Don't get me wrong, I hope it does, but like plan B. That's from someone on Twitch. I would say that technically speaking, the streaming thing has worked out, and it would probably I think this is a really feasible like career. If I kept doing this, I think that would technically work really well. It would probably grow over time and become something pretty successful. But I'm obviously not sure if that's the path that I want to go down, because it's just not sure. Plan B, yeah. I would say I'm kind of enacting Plan B next year, but it's like a Plan A/B, because it's kind of like the Plan B by choice. What would you say is something you learned about yourself doing this stream for the past year? I learned that I don't mix very well with alcohol. Toshi, you should make that casserole and send it over to Mike for Thanksgiving. Most sentimental item that you have received from your mom. The most sentimental item. My mom is always giving me stuff. She's always trying to give me things, and a lot of them are sentimental. I have a piece of, like, a letter that's, like, stapled. What is this? It's attached somehow to... I don't know how it's attached. Okay, well, I have this envelope on my desk with something that she wrote on it. It's, like, some quote. But she's really nice. She always sends me sentimental things, and she's very kind and generous and thoughtful. What do you think is the best and worst Christian teaching? I think the worst Christian teaching is that it's a solid worldview, and nothing is actually a solid worldview. And so to take anything and say, here is the framework, everything fits into here, this is the explanation for everything, but it's just so blatantly like there is no framework whatsoever that we know of, or probably will ever figure out, that is like, here is exactly what everything is and why, and there's nothing like that. That doesn't exist. So I think that's very unfair, and that's a bad thing, because once you realize that it's not the case, then you will have to face a lot of uncertainty that you should have been facing incrementally, but instead it will be one large load of uncertainty. The best Christian teaching is, I think there's probably a lot of good advice in the Bible. There's tons of good suggestions and stuff, and I don't know, one that like maybe I just don't follow all the Bible's advice anymore, but I think there's a lot of emphasis on the fact that you are not necessarily like above anyone else because of your status in society. Like that doesn't actually make you like any better or worse of a person, and that's probably a good teaching that I would subscribe to. I did recommend that song, thanks to Google. What extreme sport would you like to try? I think the one I think would be really cool is that skiing, either skiing or wakeboarding. Like both of them, like this. I think they both have different names, but where you have the parachute attached, and so like with the wake one, you think you're holding it like this, and you like hit waves and fly up and stuff. I probably wouldn't be as good at that one, but the skiing one, you like go off cliffs and you got a parachute. That's dope. What's up? Come here. And what if you go back to? Would you go back to school if it was all expenses paid to Juliard and you could take a year off? That's a good question. I was recently thinking about like going back to school for something like piano related, but there are a couple of problems with that. One, and I guess the biggest just being that like, I don't know, this. Like I'm 22, and that I'm a very like average pianist and like average musician in every way possible, and that there's just like you're never gonna be the best if you start this late in life, you know, and so it just kind of seems like a waste of money and time. But yeah, so I don't think that could ever be like my number one thing in life. I don't really know the answer to that. Would I do it? It wouldn't happen, so I wouldn't do it. And if I did, then I would be very out of place there, because I would be among people who are actually very talented and skilled at their activities, and I would not be. What's your most embarrassing moment? I shared this in a different, I think, Q&A at some point. There's like, it's a super lame story. I'm gonna save that, and I'll do it at the end if we have extra time. But it's kind of boring. I don't have a good answer. What is one of your personality traits that you think is the most difficult for your friends and potential girlfriends to put up with? I really think that I try and like take a pretty like rational approach to things, and so that means that a lot of like the just like decorative activities and things, and just like things that don't make sense but that a lot of people do just because it's like it's like good manners and stuff. I don't know, it's some of those things I just don't do, and like it doesn't bother me that people don't like that I don't do them, and it's it's just stupid. Like, it's stupid to do them in the first place. So, um, so that's, I'm not gonna do something that's like, I don't know. Okay, since I was the only one on Twitch, I'll jump over here instead. What is one of your most attractive ones? I think the most attractive attribute is that, like, I'm a pretty honest person, and so. But I mean, in a lot of senses, like, I'm not gonna tell you something that you want to hear just because you want to hear it if I don't believe it, and so I think that can be good in a lot of ways. Not to put you on the spot, and you can think about this, but do you want music theory lessons to help you learn music faster? They'd be free, by the way. I would want that, but I also would only want it at, like, a specific time, because I just would want to make sure that my, like, intake of piano information is or, like, music information is fairly stable, and not, like, take all this stuff and then get overwhelmed and then not do a lot of it. So I would want that, but I would just want it at the right time and in the right dosage, if that makes sense. Google Photos can be downloaded on iPhone. Use my phone as an option to delete all the photos in your iPhone. That's cool. Let me. That is pretty neat. I'll write down and take a look at it. How are you? Speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I'm good. Thank you. I usually watch on Twitch. Are you afraid you're going to turn into a hipster hobbit from living in your Prius? Just kidding. A hipster hobbit. I don't think I'll become either of those two things. Or if you want to join us for Thanksgiving, I'll be cooking turkey, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, some pies, green bean casserole. Big group of nerdy PhD students. That's awesome. Why not for your scariest experience? Scariest experience. One time, I think this was like 8th grade, me and Ethan and Hunter, there's this little pond. So we had our house, and there's this road, and there's this pond. And the pond was at, like, the entrance of the neighborhood, and there was an intersection road. And me and Ethan and Hunter were, like, hanging out down by this, like, tube thing that fed into the pond. And we had, like, a few beers down there, and Ethan and Hunter were smoking weed, and we were all down there, and we saw this, like, police car come to this intersection. Like, so there's the entrance, right, and there's this road, and this police car stopped here, and then we saw another police car come up the other side, and they both, like, stopped there, and there was just these two police cars that were, like, hanging out at this road intersection. And we were, like, 15 feet, like 30 or 45 feet from the two police cars. And, like, there had to have been, like, the scent of weed in the air, probably from Hunter and Ethan. And we just like, laid there still, and we were just, like, waiting. We didn't know if we should run or not, but then they moved on, and they were not there for us. Feel free to join us anytime you want. That was me. Would you consider living in a Cybertruck? Absolutely. When I saw those come out, they look like they're made to be lived in. They're very cool. Just don't have 40 G's right now. Stop being mean to Daisy. I think you meant to say Davy. So yeah, guys, if you didn't see, I actually punched Davy in the face because she was sitting in her chair that she bought, and then I kicked her on the ground and I stomped her teeth out, and I poured salt in her gums, which were bleeding, and I taught Harley how to pee on her, and all because she was sitting in her chair at her desk. Welcome to this chat. You are young. It's okay not to know what you want for your future. Thank you. Gonna help to address any irrational fears. I don't think I have any irrational fears. May I ask a question? The wrong type of hero, you may. Do you believe ghosts actually exist? I don't. I haven't had any experiences that would make me think that. Your life is sentimental. What's one unpopular opinion that you have that differs from most people in your life? I think my unpopular opinion is that people are essentially selfish, and even if we pretend that we're not, everyone is only looking out for their best interest, whether it's by like proxy actions or just finding the long way around of treating ourselves to the release of dopamine. We are only doing things out of our own interest, and if we try to act like we're not, we're kidding ourselves and we're deluding ourselves and we're being foolish. And I think that most people would disagree with that, but I think if you gave it enough thought and you really saw it to its logical conclusion, that you would agree. Would you ever consider dyeing your hair? I don't think I would. I'm a big fan of the natural look all the time, for the most part. I say as I have product in my hair. I watched your Fear Factor episode, and I was wondering if this live stream 2019 would have happened had you not won the money. No, there's no way. I mean, I wouldn't have, but the biggest reason for that answer is because I would not have just gotten to the place, and the reason that I arrived in a position where I was able to do this and came up with the idea to do it is because I had time off from life, basically, to like just think about what I wanted to do and just like do nothing except for only the things that I wanted to do, and then think about what else I wanted to do. And this is what I came up with, and that I just simply would not have had that opportunity if I didn't have Ludacris's money in my pocket. Would you share your best, funniest joke now? It's too long. It's too long. I'll tell it another time. What is your favorite cuisine? You look like some good old spicy curry. My favorite cuisine. I like Mongolian barbecue. What about the book I wrote you? That's totally the best answer. I didn't even think of that. My mom wrote me this book, I don't know how many years ago. It had to have been like 6 or 7 years ago. It was a long time ago. But it just had like, it was full of life advice. And honestly, I read it a lot of times. And it's in storage now with like my other books that I've read. And so I don't have it here, but it was great. It was probably one of the best gifts you could ever get from a parent or anyone. You know, it's like a really well thought out catalog of things that this parent or this person has learned from life and like how to apply them to your own life, their honest thoughts on it. And it was so nice. And I really looked to it a lot for advice. And I kind of wanted similar things in the future. Like I asked my mom and dad I asked my dad for the same thing from him at some point, and he gave me like a list of 10 things not to do, which was kind of like a variation of it. And then my mom gave me another one that was like sort of more based in the Bible, which I also read, but I liked the first one better because it was more like exhaustive and more approaching life as a whole. Wow, this got delightfully deep. Good question. Are you looking forward to what are you looking forward to in 2020? I'm looking forward to living in a Prius. Where'd you learn to play piano? So well, you're really good at it. You stayed for about 20 plus minutes just to thank you. I've learned to play piano off watching YouTube videos. Has anyone ever told you that you seem deranged? Let me just look up what that word means. No one has ever told me that I seem deranged. But let me just. But maybe they've asked me a different variation. Mad or insane? No, I don't think anyone's ever told me that. My grandfather, he has always told me the Bible is a guide to being a decent person. He's our church's pastor. So what's the Q&A talking about? If you played a different instrument other than piano, what would it be? I play guitar too a little bit, but the only other instrument that I really want to learn that I only know like a very small amount about and that I've only played a tiny bit is the cello. I think that's a really beautiful instrument. How did you get chlamydia 3 times? It's really easy. You just have to not work on them and have sex, and like it's super dope. And you guys should try it. Q&A thinks Joshua was one of this. I mean, kite surfing is an extreme sport. I have done that. Dope. That's cool. I like your Mostman poem quality writing. Okay, I'm behind. Don't ask any more questions. I'm gonna finish these, but question answering. What's your thoughts on long distance relationships? I don't know. I think that if you have the right person, you can have a relationship probably no matter what. But do you ever have those moments where you remember something embarrassing from your childhood and you kind of cringe thinking about it? What was it? That's a good question. Probably too long of an answer to give, just because I have. You are way too self-realized for your age. Oh no, someone has to read. Okay, let's pause the questions until he catches up. This is weird about Pauline. It's weird and those people are just move on. Right time, right dosage. Got it. Oh yeah, I'm way behind. Happiest moment this week. I was sitting in a hammock, and I think I was just chilling, and I was just looking up, and I kind of talk about this in the newsletter section, which the newsletter will be coming out later tonight. But I've just been like, just had a couple times where I was just like relaxing. That were really nice. I enjoyed Rachel's party too. What did you enjoy the most, least about the whole experiment? The most. There's too many answers to the most. The least is that it's gonna have a lot of really bad long-term repercussions for my life. But that was part of the deal, and I knew that. Good luck, take care. OMG, hey y'all, what's up, Taylor? Can you generally describe without divulging specific details what topics you tend to write about when you journal? Yeah, I just talk about what I'm thinking. What's your record for time without sleeping? Probably like 2.5 days. Not that long, and all of it was on drugs, so it doesn't count. Probably the anti-doping committee I would not pass the test. When is reverse Q&A happening in December? What's your most expensive mistake? That's a good question. I don't know if this really. I mean, this sort of counts. This is a better answer. I was gonna do this. I was trying to do this like VR project. Oh, this is such a long answer. Basically, I bought a lot of camera equipment for a project that I was confident that I was gonna get a contract for, but I didn't get the contract. It just fell through last minute, and then I had all this camera gear that I bought specifically for it, and I didn't return any of it. I think I bought it too early or something, or whatever it was. So it was like a couple thousand. It was like $2,000, $2,500 maybe of stuff that I didn't really need. I don't know if that's right. It was at least $1,500, so that was expensive, and I didn't use most of the stuff ever. Pauline's still watching. Most breathtaking experience. It's too many. I can't answer that. Ask me next Q&A earlier on, and I'll be able to do it. But we're. Like you matured so much. Keep it. You still have a copy of this book. I would probably not share it because I think it was personal for her to me. But if she wanted to, she could. Obviously, I do have a copy of it. Beth, you're an amazing monk. He's looking up deranged. Cello is my favorite instrument. Yeah, cello is beautiful. Thank you for the kind words. OMG, Michael, you've not had sex in a while. Did you only know recently you had STI? Yeah. Well, I found out like a month. I found out a while back. I just didn't have any way of getting antibiotics. So, in the UK, I think you can just order antibiotics online. Like if you had an STI, you could just get them. And you guys could tell me if this is wrong, but when I was trying to like figure this out previously, I saw that you could basically do that, and that's so convenient, and it's so inconvenient that you can't do that here. It's like $40, and that I would have to go pay like hundreds of dollars to go to a doctor to get a prescription for something that I just know that I already. It's just stupid. I'm not sure if I have a copy of it, but I'll look. Bet the Packers get destroyed. You deserve them, Beth. Go to Packers. Hellfire. Now let's go to Whataburger. Oh, Michael is wild side. Whataburger. Some items you're getting rid of once you move out of the house. Furniture. I'm going to sell a lot of furniture. But a lot of the stuff here, like the lights and stuff, and this speaker and TV and stuff, or this monitor, I'm just going to put in storage, because I'll probably use them in the next place that I live in. Chicken strips. Same for the Philippines. Antibiotics. Yeah, that's awesome. That's the way it should be. They were testing at Walmart for $69. Well, that's just another example of me being completely inept and not knowing that. That's dope. Ever been to Canada? We should all go Toshi, Joshua. Is it a test? Is it like a clinic that you can go to? Is everybody sleeping over at your house? Yeah. Well, I want to have people come out from like when we get back from New York, like after Christmas on. I want it just to be open invitation. Anyone can come. So from like 26th to the 31st, I just want it to be a giant hostel that's free. Okay,